Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shan Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrahashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeri Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Chaitanyam Sarvagam Sarvam Sarvabhuta Guhashayam Yat Sarva Vishayatitam Tasmai Sarva Vide Namaha. Sabhashyabhyantaro jirnaha janma mrityu jaratigaha ahamatmediyo veti kutonviva vibheti saha. Sanu kutaha anu bibheti. He will have fear from what source? He will have fear from nothing. There is no source of fear from him. Who knows the self in this manner. Sabhashyabhyantara, I am one non-dual self. All there is this self, I. How is that non-duality explained or described? Sabhashyabhyantara. What is bhashyam, external, antaram, which is internal, all of that is I am. And what is external, out there, what is in here, all is I am, meaning that there is no externality, no internality, no limitation with reference to space. The external, internal are the relative concepts based on the boundary of the body with which I have a natural identification. When that identification is not there, there is no external, internal really. They are always relative concepts with reference to a part, external space, inner space. So ideas of external and internal are always with reference to a boundary. In our case, a boundary is body, meaning that I take myself to be as much as the body. And therefore, what is outside the body is outside of myself, what is inside the body is inside of myself. Because I already defined myself. But I am born with that definition, put it this way. Recognizing that that definition, that concept about myself, that conclusion is not a reality, it is born of ignorance. This is a great discovery in our life. That what all I take myself to be is not a reality about me. It is all the false notion or complex about me. Janma mrityu jara ajiranaha, janma mrityu jaratigaha. I am devoid of birth and death and old age and decrepitude. Meaning, these are all the attributes of the body. The externality, internality also are with reference to body. The birth and the death and the old age and decrepitude, degeneration, all with reference to body. So I am the one that is distinct from this body. The gross body also will include the subtle body. Yet there are limitations, no doubt. But all those limitations belong to body, not to I. Limitations are not a problem. Limitations centered on I are a problem. The limited I is a problem. Limited is not the problem. I also is not the problem. Limited I. So that is the equation that I create for myself. The teacher will explain as ignorance. I am born with that equation. Therefore, Vedanta gives a new equation. Aham atmedyo vetti, when I recognize Atma that I am, who is totally divine, free from the body, and connect to the body. Kutan vivedi, what is it he will be afraid of, or what will be the source of his fear? Then the Tikakara says in verse 44, there are all standard questions and standard issues that are taken up by Bhashyakara everywhere. In Bhashya also we find this, Tathapi Yavajyavadi Shruti Viditatvat Karmanam. So we have to reconcile with all different statements in different places. It is one thing to arrive at your own conclusion, but it is also necessary that that conclusion about yourself does not contradict whatever else that is said anywhere in the scriptures. Meaning that we have to reconcile with what is said in different places. So this is a famous statement. Yavajyavadi shruti yavajyavam agnihotram juhoti. One should, so juhoti means juhuyat. One should perform agnihotra, which stands for all the daily obligated duties, vihita karma. One should perform the enjoined duties. Duties enjoined by the Shastra as long as one is alive. As far as Mimamsakas is concerned, the wives otherwise, everybody is included there. So typically now is the analysis of that statement. Yavajjivam agnihotram juhoti. Juhuyat. One should perform agnihotradi as long as one is alive. That statement is there. So what is the interpretation of the statement? Is that statement unconditional or is it conditional statement? The Mimamsaka says that it is an unconditional statement, meaning that applies to everybody, every human being. Vedantin wants to make a point that that statement applies to the ignorant person, not to the wise. So this was what Bhashyakara Shankaracharya contributed in the thought process. That Mimamsaka's conclusions and opinions are very prevalent, and therefore the statement would mean that. But then every statement is a conditional statement. So taking up that statement, Yavajjivadi Shruti Viditatvat Karmanam, Since all the karma, meaning the daily duties like Agnihotradi, Viditatmananda, because they are enjoined by Shruti, by the Vedas, therefore तदकारणे प्रत्यवाय भयम विदुषोपि अस्ति. Therefore, when you do not obey that order, there is going to be a consequence in terms of punishment, let us say, moral punishment. So you are bound by the moral laws that are declared by the Shruti. And when you deliberately violate that law, then naturally you are subject to punishment. So violation of the law will be called papa, and sin will result into pain. Vidushopi asti. Even Lord Rama also had fear from adharma. Imagine Lord Rama having fear from adharma. So would not even Vidwan, the wise person, of fear of violating the injunction of the Shruti? So pratyavaya bhayam vidishopi asti. The wise person also will have fear that, hey, I am not obeying the command of the Shruti, and therefore I am subject to punishment. Iti. Would not that be? तत्परिहाराय अनुष्ठानम शादी चेत. Therefore तत्परिहाराय प्रत्यवाय भयम परिहाराय. Therefore a wise person also, there is an adherence to the performance of his daily duties in order to remove the fear arising from not conforming to the command of the Shruti. That is the argument that Mimamsaka, the wise person, also will have this fear. Kutoneva Vivedi, earlier statement said, how he will be afraid of what? He will be afraid of this. A conscientious person is afraid of going against the conscience. And Veda creates a conscience in you that you should perform the duty as long as you are alive. So would not the wise person also have this fear? Hey, I am violating the command of the Vedas. And therefore, would he not be obliged to perform the karma enjoined by the Shruti to become free from that fear? Naityaha says no. So kutonveva vivedi, even this also is not the source of fear of a wise person. Why? So next verse is Pragevai tadvideh karma varnitvade rapohanat तदस्थूलादि शास्त्रेभ्यः तत्त्वमेवेति निश्चयात्. So no doubt this vidhi is there. Yavat jivam agnihotram juhoti, that vidhi is there. Vedanta says that vidhi also has boundary. Prageva etad videhe karma varnit. So, varnitvadehi apohanat prageva tad videhe karma. Varnitvam varni, varnaha asya asthiti varni. Varni is a caste. So one who belongs to a given caste, meaning Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, so he is called a varni, who possesses a varna. Varnitvadehe apohanat praga. But time comes when this varnitvam, the brahmanatvam, kshatriyatvam, etc. is also negated in Atma. How? That asthuladi shastrebhya. Asthulam, ananu, akhrasvam, adirgham, that Shastra, that statement of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad negates all these attributes in Atma. What is meant by negation is that you cannot say there is no gross and no subtle. Tadasturam. The Atma is not gross, Atma is not subtle, Atma is not long, so Atma is devoid of all the attributes. So the Upanishad statement negates the attributes in Atma, not in general. You can't say there is no grossness or there is no gross body. It's all there. It is not where we think it is. So gross body is thought to be belong to Atma. I am gross, I am subtle, I am tall, I am short, I am long, etc. Then you join these things, I am. That is not so. That is negated. The tall, short, fair, dark are negated in I am. Not just negated, not that they are not there. They are someplace. Had they not been in some place, I would not take them to be myself. But that I am tall, I am short is the result of superimposition of tallness, shortness that belongs to non-I. So negation means that they are negated in Atma, in the self. And the need for negation arises from the conclusion that I am so and so, that I am tall, I am short, and that conclusion creates in me a sense of insignificance and smallness, limitedness, wanting, lacking, sorrow. Therefore, to make this person free from sorrow, it is necessary, because sorrow is created by those conclusions of complexes, no other reason. Therefore, those complexes, they are complexes. The conclusions about you, not reality about you. That's what Upanishad says. And when the significance of this and similar statement of Upanishad is recognized, Varnitvade apohanam, therefore the negation of varnitvam happens in me. The brahmanatvam, kshatriyatvam, that I am a brahmana, kshatriya. Why is this specifically mentioned here? Because only brahmana looks upon, considers that I am responsible for this. The sense of responsibility comes along with the idea of varnitvam, caste, etc. So caste and stage of varnashrama. So when one looks upon oneself as belonging to a varna, to an ashrama, then there is necessarily a duty associated with that. Not with varna and ashrama, with the individual who is identified with varna and ashrama, that is where the duty is. Therefore, the duty is no more there when this one becomes free from that identification. In response to this teaching, hey, you are not Brahma, you are not tall, you are not short, recognize that you are the witness. Tattvameveti nischayat. Not only what I am not. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. So then what are you? Tattvameveti nischayat. That Brahman you are. So I am not this anatma and I am Brahman. Iti nischayat prag. So before this nischaya, a certain knowledge takes place. Before then, one looks upon oneself as a human being and so forth, and that is how one is subject to obeying the command of the Shruti. Until then, the Vidhi, this command applies, not beyond that. Meaning that wise person is not accountable for, is not obliged to conform to this command of Shruti. So Tika says, Asthuladi Shastrebhya Vanitvadehi Apohanat Prag, fifth case, before this. So Vanitvadehi Apohanam, the negation of the Varnitvam, the Brahmanatvam in the self is negated, which is what? Karma adhikara hetoho. What makes me adhikari for karma? What makes me accountable for performing action? Is my conclusion that I am a Brahmana, I am a Varni, I am an Ashrami. When that is negated in Atma, Tattvamevedi Vakyena, not only that, what I am not. Tattvamevedi Vakyena Brahma Surupatva Nishayat. Tattvamasi, Tat Brahmatvamasi, by that Vakya that I am Brahman, that Nishaya is there. Etad Videhe. Prageva Etad Videhe. Etad Videhe. What is Etad Videhe? Etad Atma Tattva Vijnanat Pratipadanat Prageva Videhe Prageva. Now, Etad Videhe Etad Atma Tattva Vidhanat Pratipadanat Prageva. Praga, before the teaching Vidhanam. First is teaching that you must perform this duty. Then there is teaching that you are Brahman. So one Vidhi, that is also a Vidhi, you are Brahman. That negates that Vidhi that I am a Brahmana, that my notions are there. Atma Tattva Vidhanat Prag Videhi means Vidhanat, fifth case. Before the Vidhanat, before the teaching of the Atma Tattva that I am Brahman, Prageva, before that, Purvameva, that Yavajjvari Shastravedam Karma, and before until then is karma enjoined by the statement Yavajjiva. No Urdhvanidhi Yojana. It's a little incomplete sentence, therefore the Tikakara provides, fills up the gaps. So, but then no Urdhvam. After that, this statement does not apply. Anadikarana akarane pratyavaya asambhavat. Pratyavaya, the dosha is only for the one who is obliged to follow the law, a rule. Who is not obliged to follow the rule, there is no pratyavaya. If you are driving a vehicle on the road, then there is a rule that you must drive on the left. Drive on the right, then you can be arrested or you can be given, ticket, punished. You can be punished. But if you are a pedestrian, there is no rule that you must drive right, walk only on the left pathway or right. You can walk whichever way you want. The rule that you must be only on the left side of the road does not apply to pedestrian. As long as he was driving a vehicle, yes, he was subject to that. No, he is not driving that vehicle, he is not subject to that. So, pratyavaya asambhava anadikarina. That vidhi always applies to a person qualified. The vidhi or enjoinment or order or command is not a general statement. Command is for a particular person. And as long as I think that I am that particular person, then I have to respond to that. When I know that I am not that particular person, then I am, bindas, he walks whenever he wants. Iti bhava. Although for a pedestrian also there are rules when he is crossing, then there are all these zebra signs, etc. And then he can be liable. But then a donkey doesn't apply, that rule can't be applied to a donkey, he is not adhikari. So you must cross only the zebra crossing, doesn't apply to a cow. So cow can't be punished, donkey cannot be punished. So therefore all these commands always have a targeted audience, understand? They cannot be universal. Even the statement that you must perform Agnihotradi as long as you are alive, that you doesn't include everything. It's a targeted audience. Who are there? Those who Abhimanam, identification with Varnashrama. So free from identification, no more obliged to follow that Vidi. Atmanah adhyasam vina na vanitvadi asti. It is slowly bringing up to adhyasa, ignorance. What brings about this notion on my part that I am a man or a woman or a brahmana, kshatriya, brahmachari, sannyasi? What brings about that conclusion on my part? Because when Atma is devoid of all these attributes, then how come I to take myself to be possessed with attributes? Adhyasam vina. Adhyasa, superimposition, identification. So without the identification of what I am not, vanitvadi nasti, there cannot be this conclusion that I am so and so unless there was an adhyasa or identification of what I am not. So this is the Vedantin's diagnosis of where the fundamental problem is. And therefore this shows adhyasa. Why do you think I am not a Brahmana? Why does Upanishad say I am not a Brahmana? I know I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya. Says, no, you cannot be. Why Yukti Maha? To help me understand that this notion that I am Brahmana cannot be reality about me, for that a Yukti or a reason is stated here. Says the next one. Purvadeha parityage जात्यादीनां प्रहाणतः देहस्यैव तु जात्यादिः तस्याप्येवं ह्यनात्मता. Just pointing out the simple experiences of life. Purva deha parityage, when you abandon the earlier body, when you depart from this body. Chatyadinam prahanatah, then the brahmanatvam, kshatriyatvam also is given up. Meaning that the jiva atma who depart from this body no one has a notion that I am a brahmana, kshatriya, etc. Therefore, that brahmanatvam, kshatriyatvam, varnitvam, etc. is also given up when you depart from this body. That shows that jati adi, the varna adi belongs to the deha, because when you give up the deha, no more there is notion that I am a brahmana, kshatriya or young, old, all that goes away. So anvaya vyatireka. As long as body is there, so long there is a notion that I am a brahmana, etc. When I become free from the body, when I depart from the body, no more that notion is there. Therefore, brahmanatvam doesn't belong to I, it belongs to body. So brahmanatvam doesn't belong. How about the body? Dehasya evam, even body also doesn't belong to me. First, brahmanatva does not belong to me because when I give this body, there is no brahmanatva in me. But then body also is not in me, therefore body also is anatma. So first says, varnitvam is anatma. Varna is anatma, then deha also is anatma. So Tika says, deha parityage tat anuvakta jata parityagat. Deha parityage, when the deha, the body, is discarded, abandoned, given up, when you depart from this body at the time of death. So anurakta jati is only anurakta sambandha. The jati or brahmanatva is only connected with body, with nothing else. Parityaga, therefore, when the body is given up, the brahmanatva also is, that notion that I am brahmana also is given up. Agama payetvena, meaning brahmanatva is not something that is permanent. agama, it is there as long as the body is there. Apaya, it is not there when body is not there. Therefore, no, the Atma is always there. Whether Brahmanatma is there, Atma is there, is not there, Atma is there, body is there, Atma is there, body is not there, so there is Vyatireka. Anvaya of Atma is all of them, Vyatireka of all of them in Atma. Na Jatyadi Atma Dharma. Therefore, by Anvaya Vyatireka is very clear that Jatyadi, Jati, Varna, Shrama, etc. does not belong to Atma. That is Agamapai, is subject to coming and going. Meaning is incidental. Kintu dehasyeva jatyadi dharma becomes very clear. Body is not there, body was there, jatyadi was there. Body is not there, jatyadi is not there. Therefore, jatyadi belongs to body. Dehasyeva jatyadi dharma. Therefore, jatiyadi brahmanatvadi dharma. That attribute is belongs to body, is possessed by body. Alright. So Brahmana I am not. Tarhi deha eva atma. Then you say that I am the body. Brahmanatvam I am not. I don't have. Body I have. Or am I not the body? Tasyapi evam hi anatmata. Body also is anatma. Why? Evam agama paye. Evam means in this manner. Agama payetvat eva. Evam comes from the verse. In this manner, in what manner? Agama payitvat eva. Just as jatyadi is subject to coming and going is incidental, so also body is incidental because I am giving it up when I depart from the body. Anatma, therefore, the body is equally anatma. So first, jatyadi is anatma, and then body is anatma. It's this strange sequence here. Normally he says, I am not the body, therefore I am not Brahmana. But he says, I am not Brahmana and I am the body. So then reason is not, I am body because I am not Brahmana. I am not Brahmana because Brahmanatvam is incidental. I am not the body because body also is incidental. So agama payitvam, being subject to coming and going, some it is there, not that it is there now, not later, is incidental. So being incidental is what applies to jatyadi, varna and body also. So the reason why the anatma, who is anatma? That is incidental. The reason why it is necessary to recognize this as anatma because there is time when I think that I am the body. Therefore it is important for me to know that the body is incidental. It is Vyatireka in Atma, Atma is there, body is not there after we depart from the body. Atma is there, body is there when I am alive, but then body is not there. That means that body is incidental, agamapai. Dehasya jatyadesya vanitvadina prakarena. And these two entities, Deha and Jatyadi, they become the basis for making me responsible for karma. I respond to a command, a duty when I am the body or I am the jati. Dehasya jatyadesya vanitvadina prakarena. Jati means a Brahmana. Deha means a male, female. Then there Brahmana, male, female, brahmachari, grihastha, all of that will qualify him. Qualify means make him responsible for a given duty. Everybody to perform duty, so then it's all determined by your varnashrama. That's what karma adhikar hetu. Hetu, the cause for karma adhikara, responsibility of karma. That's karma adhikara, responsibility of karma or duty is because of jatyadi and deha. Abhava in atma, jatyadi is not there, deha also is not there, and therefore that which should make atma responsible for karma, not there, atma is not responsible for karma. Because the criteria necessary for responsibility for karma are absent in Atma. Atma svabhavatah karma kartrutvam. Atma also becomes accountable for performing action as long as the identification of the body and jati, etc. So, two ways. When you depart from the body, then of course there is no connection with the body. But even when you are in the body, you can say, you can recognize I am not the body, this is equal then. In spite of the body, you know that you are not in the body, then you are equally not accountable for the duty. So here the experience of not being the body is shown, pointed out, to explain how Atma is free from the duty. And even when you are supposedly in the body, then also recognition that I am not the body equally makes you free from the accountability of karma. Atmana na svabhavata karma kartum upadyate. Therefore, Atma is not karma karta by nature. Atma becomes karma karta because of identification, adhyasa, not by nature. Sharirādishu Atma Atmiya Abhimanasya Prasiddhatvena Heyatva Ayogamashankyaha. How can you give up this body? Sharirādishu Atma Atmiya. Sharira, body, Atma, I am the body. Atmiya, this body is mine. Atma means I, Atmiya means mine. Sometimes I say I am the body, sometimes the body is mine. Prasiddha, this is, so how do you explain that experience? Everybody says I am the body or this body is mine. So, prasiddhatva, this is something that is very common to all the human beings. Hiyatva ayogam, therefore, how can we give up this body? Ashankyaha mamahamiti, next verse is mamaham chaityato vidyat sharirādishvanātmasu आत्मज्ञानेन हेया स्यात् असुराणामिति श्रुतेः. Mama aham cheti avidya, that this body is mine or I am the body, is ignorance. Sharirādishu anātmasu atmajnāyena heya. So this is the definition of avidya. What is avidya? This body is mine, I am the body, or this body is mine, is avidya. Heya, that avidya can be given up by what? By avidya. What is avidya? Sharirādishu anātmasu atmajnāyena heya. Sharira, etc., that includes jati, anātmasu is recognized anatma. In the earlier verse, it was established that the jatyadi and deha is anatma. Now you say that I am the body. No, that cannot be right. Already it is logical. Explain that body you cannot be. Jati you cannot be. Varni you cannot be. And still if you say I am a Brahmana, this is my body, it has to be wrong. So there we recognize that these notions are born of ignorance. That ignorance prevails in our life. And how do we say that ignorance in life? Ignorance creates these notions or complexes. So because of these conclusions or complex or notions, we know there is ignorance in life. When you recognize that, then you know what the solution is. Knowledge is a solution. Atmajnānena heya syāt. This is avidya. Ignorance of the nature of I am the body, mine is the body is given up. Oh, subject to being given up by the knowledge of self. So says the Tika, yataha atmani agamapayabhyam anatmatvam dehadehe nischitam. In the previous verse, dehadehe anatmatvam nischitam. In the previous verse, it was determined that Dehadi, Deha, Jati, etc. is Anatma. What was the reason? Agama Payitvad, because the incidental, subject to coming and going, and not all permanently in Atma. Therefore they are Anatma. Like Vasamsi Jirnani, like Vasamsi, like the garment that I put on and then I discard them, so the body I acquire and discard them. So just as my garments are not I, so also body is not I. Nishchitam. So this was determined in the previous words. Ataha heto, therefore. Otherwise you can't say it is ignorance. But because it is determined by reasoning that you cannot be, body cannot be you, and then the jati etc. cannot be you, and therefore what makes you is sponjva karma is not there in you. Therefore, ataha mamaham cha iti ataha, there is an ataha. In the fifth case, ataho hetoho, for that reason, shariradishu anatmasu mamaham cha iti iti atman avidya. Therefore, shariradishu. So now sharira jati is determined as anatmasu. Shariradishu, so shariradishu anatmasu, that statement comes following the previous verse, where it was determined that shariradi are agamapai, they are anatma. Therefore they determine that they are anatma. Then you still say that this is I and this is mine, that it has to be wrong. Mithya, pratyaya. It has to be a false conclusion, not a real, not reality. Sa atmajnanena heya syat, bhadya syat, that ignorance. Now, it is ignorance like darkness can be dispelled by light. So once we recognize what the basic problem is, then the solution becomes clear. The human being is constantly trying to become free from sense of limitation. He revolts. But unless you understand what makes me this limited, so I assign various causes for my limitation, I try to revolt against them, remove them, fight with them, keeping the basic cause intact. That's human life. Constant struggle of becoming free while retaining the basic cause of bondage, retaining intact, constant struggle to become free. It is a very ironical situation. But nobody is free from that. However great you are, in terms of however brilliant you are, this is there unfortunately. Atmajnanena Atma Tattva Brahmatma Anusandhanena Heya Syat Bhadya Syat. Since now he determined that I am the body, this body is mine, is ignorance, therefore it can be dispelled by knowledge of the true nature of myself. Atma Tattva Brahmatma. Therefore what is Anusandhanam? Upanishad Atma iti upasita. You always contemplate upon yourself or look at yourself as Atma. So Atma Tattva Brahma Atma Anusandhanam. What it means is that may you always look at yourself as Brahma. Right now Anusandhanam is going on. A constant meditation is going on. Dehoham, Mamaham, Dehaha, this is my body, I am the body. That is by default going on. So this is called habitual error born of ignorance. Thereby deliberately we have to now eliminate that. What is going on by default, by habit, has to be ruled by a conscious habit, a conscious awareness. Therefore, Atma Tattva Brahma Atma Anusandhanena. Atma Tattva, what is Atma Tattva? Brahma is the essential nature of Atma Anusandhanena, by always dwelling upon that. So, placing that Anusandhanam where Anusandhanam, Dehoham, that is where you replace Brahmaham. That is why Antarakarana Shuddhi is required. That is why Ekagrata is required. Bhadya syat. Yatanto yoginaschayanam pashyantyatmanyavasthitam yatantopya krutatmana nayanam pashyantya chetasaha. Akrutatmana. So those who do not have that purity of the mind or the focus of the mind, even after trying they cannot do this. But yatanta, when right yatna is there, dusyatedu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshivih. Sukshmaya buddhya agraya buddhya. That is the yogina. So that they see. Now also, to support this view, at dehatmuste asuratve nindasudescha. The dehatma, dehasya atmatvam was established by reasoning, but then dehasya atmatvam is also condemned in the Upanishad. Therefore also deha cannot be atma. Deha cannot be the self because it is agamapai, and deha cannot be the self because those who look upon deha as atma are condemned as asuras. Asuranam hi esha Upanishad iti shrutehe. So this is from the Chandogya Upanishad. Very famous anecdote. Where Indra and Virochana, they go to Prajapati and then seek the Atma Jnanam. And Prajapati says, Prajapati also said it in Lakshyartha. Yesha Akshini Purusho Dushyate Esha Atma iti hovacha. When Indra and Virochana asked for self-knowledge from Prajapati, he said that the one that is seen in the right eye is the Atma. So this was to be understood by Lakshyartha. Not one who is seen in the right eye, one who sees through the right eye. The seer of the eye was meant there. That what is it that makes the eye see? Shrotrasya manasa vachoha vacha chakshu cha chakshu. That was the Upadesha. This statement was taken literally. They looked into each other's eyes and they came to a conclusion. So, Virochan came to conclusion that the body is Atma, and Indra came to conclusion that this shadow is Atma. It's interesting. Then Prajapati, by testing, found out that this is the confusion these fellows have. So he again gave them another chance. That when you fill a big plate with water, then look at yourself and see what do you see. Well, this is what we see ourselves. We see ourselves completely in this water. Again, reflection is taken to be Atma, or body is taken to be Atma. Then Prajapati gave further chances to do one thing. Sadhu alankratau subhasanau parishkratau bhutva. Tomorrow, may you be well adorned, well attired, clean, get a haircut, clip your nails, take bath, be well dressed, ornamented, and then see. Some tube light may happen. They saw and said, we see ourselves as, well dressed and well ornamented. Meaning that their conclusion that body is Atma did not change in spite of these efforts on the part of Prajapati. Both of them were satisfied with the knowledge they had and walked away. To uchatuhu athaiva idam avam bhavastha. That's what they say, that this is what we are. That we are now the Atma, I am the Atma, with well dressed, with ornaments, etc. So anviksha, Prajapati, so when they were walking away, satisfied with their understanding, Prajapati said, they are going away without knowing the Atma. And whoever has this knowledge of Atma, that I am the body, Devava, Asurava, whether Devata or Asura, whoever it is who has in this knowledge or this notion that I am the body, te parabhavishanti iti, they will become defeated. So, Prajapati uttered this statement while those fellows are walking so that they can hear. At this time the statement did not touch them. They heard that. And that statement never made sense to Virochana, so he was merrily, happy with whatever knowledge he had. This statement touched Indra as he was walking away, so he started thinking. So the reason why Prajapati made this statement, that someday the fellows will think. Shantrudeva Virochana Asuran Jagama. Virochana, the king of demons, satisfied with his knowledge that I am the body, reached the Asuras, the demons. Tebhya hetam Upanisham provacha. To them he gave this Upanishad, secret knowledge. Atma evaya mahaya atma paricharya. This is what the great grandsire has said, that this is Atma. What is Atma? Ahaya paricharya. You must serve the Atma, you must adore the Atma. Then what will happen? Uho loko avapnoti iti. By doing that, you will attain this world as well as other world. That is what Prajapati had said. If you know the Atma, you attain all the worlds. So this is Atma, and therefore, O Asura, if you know this, you will attain this world and the other world. So that means there is an Upanishad. This Virochana, so therefore the Asura Vada, Virochana Vada is there. What is that? That I am the body. Tasmadapi Adya Iha Adadanam Ashraddadhanam Ayajamanam Ahu Asurobhataiti. Therefore also today, if there is a person who is not giving, who doesn't have Shraddha, who doesn't perform dana, homa, yajna, dana, tapa, who doesn't do that, because they don't see the need to do that. Already you are Atma, Asuro Bhataiti, therefore they don't see any need to do yajna, dana, tapa. When they see them, hey, this is Asura. Asura eva Upanishad. This is the Upanishad or secret knowledge of Asuras or demons. Pretasya shariram bhikshaya vasanena alankarana iti samskurvanti. They literally take the body to be Atma, and therefore they take this body of departed man with the vasanena bhikshaya, with the things of enjoyment, vasanena with clothes, alankarana decorations. Find me in the Egyptian mummies, where the same thing was there, that in their coffin all these, the dead body was preserved somehow, and all of these things were there. The good clothes will be there, ornaments will be there, I get good food will be there. Etena amum lokam jeshanto manyante. And they believe that by this they will conquer the other world. They are going with this, so they will conquer the other world. Asuranami Esha Upanishad. This is the Upanishad, secret knowledge of Asuras. So this knowledge that I am the body is described as the knowledge of the Asuras or demons. And that way this knowledge, this conclusion is condemned. Not the Devatas, the Asuras think so. Therefore also I cannot be the body. Atma, body cannot be Atma because of Agamapahitvat. Body cannot be Atma because the knowledge that body is Atma is condemned. by calling this knowledge as belonging to asuras. Iti. Tattvajnanat urvam na karma namatat prayojagam jatyadi atmasya asti. Same thing is stated in the drishtantena sadhayati. Tattvajnana urvam, after tattvajnanam, na karma, there is no duty, karma is duty. Natat prayojagam jatyadi atmanasti. By karma is meant duty here, by the way, not just any activity. In duty there is compulsion, I must do, that is called duty. In performing the duty, there is a compulsion within me, I must do, that is the bondage. Karma is not bondage. And that compulsion is brought about by jatya devimana, when this notion that I belong to this jati, that is what makes me which compels me to perform the duty. So it is not that after this tattvajnanam, it is drishtantena sadhayati. This again is established with the help of drishtanta. Next verse is Dashaha shaucha karyanam parivrajye nivartanam yatha jnanasya sampraptau tadvajjatyadi karmana. Dashaha, for 10 days, ashaucha karyanam. So says this ashaucha dehe anushteyata. When asuchi comes, when the death happens into a near and dear one, then asuchi, the sutak ashaucha comes, sutak ashuchi comes. In Gujarati sutak, here ashuchi. And so the defilement, so you are also defiled, you are also impure because of your connection with that. That's what it is. That this body's death is impure. Since you are related to that, you also seem to inherit that impurity for X number of days, say 10 days. So for 10 days you cannot do puja, you cannot do various things which are required, which require the purity, so you cannot do those things because you become impure. To the extent that people in the United States do that, hey, some cousin died and therefore now for 10 days I can't come to temple, I can't come to, classes, etc. Anyway, so those who are brought up with that samskara have feeling then, that I can't do this, I'm impure. But parivrajye nivatanam, for a parivrajaka, for a sannyasi who is supposedly free from the identification of the body, because now sannyasi doesn't belong to, he is atyashrami, doesn't belong to an ashrama because no identification in the body. Supposedly done is shraddha, so this body is already dead to this body, and therefore whatever obligations were there associated with the body, they are no more there. Therefore, a sannyasi does not feel obliged to follow the rules of the days of impurity because he no more has any identification with his body. So, parivrajye sate sapindata abhimana abhavat. That means sannyasi in fact dies to the old body. So one of the rituals in sannyasa is to perform your own shraddha. All shraddhas are done. There is a final duty. You perform all the shraddha, including yourself. That means that you have no more any connection with this body. You are dead to this body. That is the idea anyway. So that is the spirit or bhavana. There was sannyasina yatha ashauchade ananushteyata. Therefore, he does not have to follow the rules which are to be followed by the one who inherits that impurity when there is identification of the body. Yatha. So jnanasya samprapto, that yatha goes in the first line. Tatha jnanasya samprapto, tadvat means tatha jnanasya samprapto jatyadi karanam nivartanam. Tatha in a manner similar to that. Jnanasya samprapto, brahmatma jnana samprapto. When the Brahma, Atma is Brahman, I am Brahman, that knowledge is very well attained. When I abide in that knowledge, then I no more have any identification of the body. Chatyadi abhimana bhava. So two persons. A wise person, even though he is courting a body, he has no identification of the body, therefore does not judge himself by the body. And therefore the duties which were applicable at the level of body are no more applicable to him. Vidusha karma anusthana bhava iti. Therefore, there is another reason by Dushtanta that white person has karma anusthana bhava, absence of the responsibility for performing duties, which would otherwise be there if there is identification of the body. So that way karma bhava. Yavat jivam agnihotram juhuyat, one is accountable for performing duties as long as one is alive. Is that statement unconditional? No, that doesn't apply to the wise person who is no more identified with the body. That's the idea here. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.